Scene opens with a cozy, decorated living room. A golden retriever and a fluffy cat are lounging near a Christmas tree. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. With the holidays just around the corner, I wanted to share a story that feels like it's straight out of a Christmas movie. It's a tale about an unlikely duo, a cat and a dog, who ended up saving Christmas for their family. So grab a cup of hot cocoa, get comfy, and let's dive in. Our story begins in a small, snowy town, in a house filled with the scent of pine needles and gingerbread. This was the home of the Miller family, Mom, Dad, and their two kids, Lily and Tom. But the real main characters of our story are Barnaby, a goofy, golden-hearted golden retriever, and Jasper, a sleek, sophisticated Siamese cat who acted like he owned the place. Because, well, he kind of did. Barnaby and Jasper were, to put it mildly, not the best of friends. Barnaby's idea of a good time was a loud, slobbery game of fetch. Jasper preferred quiet, contemplative naps and sunbeams. Their daily routine was a comical ballet of avoidance. Barnaby would zig, Jasper would zag. If Barnaby went for the water bowl, Jasper would suddenly decide the food bowl on the other side of the room was far more interesting. They coexisted, but that was about it. It was Christmas Eve, and the Miller house was buzzing with excitement. The tree was twinkling, stockings were hung, and a plate of cookies for Sana was sitting on the coffee table. Lily and Tom were practically bouncing off the walls, eagerly awaiting the morning. After a final bedtime story, the kids were tucked in, and soon the whole house fell silent, except for the gentle hum of the refrigerator and the soft crackle of the embers in the fireplace. This is where our adventure truly begins. In the quiet of the night, a strange sound echoed from the kitchen. A faint, almost imperceptible asterisk clink asterisk, followed by a soft thud. Barnaby, ever the light sleeper, lifted his head. His ears twitched. It wasn't the sound of Santa's sleigh. It was something off. He got to his paws and padded silently towards the kitchen. Peeking around the corner, his eyes widened. A figure, dressed all in dark clothes, was trying to pry open the back window. This wasn't Santa Claus. Barnaby knew he had to do something. His first instinct was to bark his head off, to wake the whole neighborhood. But he was a gentle giant, and the thought of scaring Lily and Tom was the last thing he wanted. He needed a different plan. He looked around the living room, his gaze landing on Jasper, who was now awake and watching the intruder with narrowed, calculating eyes. For the first time, they weren't rivals. They were a team. Barnaby gave a low, quiet woof. A sound that said, "You see this?" Jasper responded with a silent, slow blink, which in cat language meant, "Of course I do, you big oaf." I'm already 3 steps ahead. An unspoken agreement passed between them. It was time for Operation Annoy the Intruder. Phase 1 was Jasper's domain. With the stealth of a ninja, he leaped onto the kitchen counter. The burglar, focused on the window lock, didn't notice him. Jasper calmly, deliberately, began pushing things off the counter. First, a single spoon, asterisk clatter asterisk. The burglar froze. Then a salt shaker, asterisk clink, rattle, rattle asterisk. The man looked around, unnerved. Jasper saved his masterpiece for last, a whole pan of Christmas cookies that Mom had left to cool. With a mighty shove, the pan went crashing to the floor, sending cookies skittering in every direction. The noise was deafening in the silent house. The burglar jumped, spinning around to see the source of the commotion, and that's when Barnaby initiated Phase 2. With the grace of a furry, 4-legged bowling ball, Barnaby charged. But he wasn't aiming for the man. He was aiming for the spilled cookies. He slid across the tiled floor, gobbling up the delicious evidence and creating an incredible racket. The burglar was completely bewildered. He was now standing in a kitchen with a cat staring him down from the counter like a crime boss, and a giant dog who seemed to be having the time of his life on a cookie-covered slip and slide. This was not going according to plan. He decided to cut his losses and make a run for it, but he hadn't counted on the final part of their plan. As the man turned to leave, Jasper, from his high perch, took a flying leap, landing squarely on the man's shoulders. Claws out, just a little, he dug in. The man yelped, flailing his arms wildly, trying to dislodge the feline fury. This sent him stumbling backward, right into Barnaby's path. Barnaby, seeing his furry friend in danger, did what any loyal dog would do. He stood up and gave the man a giant, slobbery, full-face lick. A face full of cat claws and dog tongue was the final straw. The burglar shrieked, scrambled out the window he'd just opened, and disappeared into the night, likely questioning all of his life choices. The commotion finally woke up Mr. and Mrs. Miller. They rushed downstairs to find a scene of beautiful chaos. The kitchen was a mess of cookie crumbs. Barnaby was wagging his tail with a guilty, sugar-dusted snout, and Jasper was calmly grooming himself on the counter, looking as if nothing had happened. At first, they were confused. But then they saw the open window and the muddy footprints leading away from the house. It all clicked into place. They looked at their pets, not as a dog and a cat, but as their furry little security guards. Their heroes. The next morning, as Lily and Tom tore open their presents, they had no idea that their Christmas had almost been stolen. But Mr. and Mrs. Miller knew. And as a special thank you, under the tree were 2 extra presents. One was a squeaky toy shaped like a stick for Barnaby. The other was a plush velvet cushion for Jasper, placed in the sunniest spot in the house. From that day on, something shifted between Barnaby and Jasper. They were still a dog and a cat, sure, but they were also partners in crime fighting. You'd often find them napping near each other, not quite touching, but close enough. A silent understanding, a bond forged in the heat of a Christmas Eve crisis. They had saved Christmas, and so the legend of Barnaby and Jasper became a favorite Miller family story, retold every Christmas Eve as a reminder that heroes come in all shapes and sizes, some with wagging tails, and others with silent, judging stares. And sometimes the greatest gifts aren't the ones under the tree, but the furry family members curled up beside it. What a story, right? It just goes to show that even the most unlikely pairs can come together when it counts. I hope you enjoyed this little holiday tale. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. And if you have any funny stories about your own pets, I would absolutely love to read them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching and have a very Merry Christmas.